This is an Intel-based Mac Mini processors. The current non-server Mac Mini versions come as standard with the mobile dual-core 64-bit Intel Core i5 processor that runs at 2.3 or 2.5 GHz, with an optional mobile dual-core Intel Core i7 2.7 GHz also being available, while the server model has a mobile quad-core 64-bit Intel Core i7 processor that runs at 2.0 GHz. Each CPU has on-chip L3 cache, which is shared between the cores and GPU, if in use. Previous revisions used a Penryn Intel CoreDuo processor, Mi-Rom-based CoreDuo and Iona-based CoreDuo and Solo chips. While the Mac Mini G4 contained a separate graphics processor, all revisions of the Intel-based Mac Mini contain integrated GPUs, except in the 2011 version, where the 2.5 GHz model contains a separate AMD Radeon GPU. In Apple's early marketing of the Mac Mini G4, it touted the superiority of the use of a discrete AMD Radeon 9232 MB graphics card over the integrated graphics included in many budget PCs. The Intel GMA that was built into the Mac Mini was criticized for producing stuttering video, despite supporting hardware-accelerated H.264 video playback, and disappointing frame rates in graphics-intensive 3D games. Memory. Unlike the Mac Mini G4, the Intel-based Mac Mini uses a dual-channel architecture for memory. The original Intel-based Mac Mini uses 667 MHz DDR2 SDRAM, while models beginning with the early 2009 revision uses 1066 MHz DDR3 SDRAM. The current mid-2010 revision supports up to 8 GB of memory. The current model also features a removable bottom panel, so that the memory can be replaced by the user. Since the integrated graphics processor does not have its own dedicated memory, the system shares some of the main system memory with it. Storage. The Intel-based Mac Mini moves away from the previously used Ultra ADA 100 to the newer Serial ADA interface, which offers a maximum 3 gigabits per second transfer rate. However, all models of Intel Mac Mini have been limited to 1.5 gigabits per second, even though the SATA standard supports a transfer of 3 gigabits per second. All models continue to use 2.5-inch hard drives as opposed to the 3.5-inch drives used in standard desktops. A server edition of the Mac Mini was introduced in October 2009, which omits the optical drive in favor of a second hard drive for a total of 1 terabyte of storage. A combo drive was initially offered as standard, with the super drive being an option, but through the 2010 models, all models that have an optical drive contain the super drive as standard. The 2010 standard version of the Mac, without server, comes with a 300 gigabytes or on 2.66 GHz 500 gigabytes of storage. The original Intel-based Mac Mini includes 4 USB 2.0 ports and 1 FireWire 400 port. Networking is supported with the built-in Gigabit Ethernet port and an integrated 802.11bg airport card. Bluetooth was also made standard. External displays are supported through a DVI port. While the Mac Mini G4 supports only analog audio output, the Intel-based Mac Mini has separate Mini-2/1/8 3.5mm mini jacks that support both analog audio input and output as well optical digital SPDIF input and output. The I/O ports were changed with the early 2009 revision. A fifth USB 2.0 port was added and the FireWire 400 port was replaced with a FireWire 800 port. The airport card was upgraded to 802.118/B/G/draft-N and later to 802.11abgn. Bluetooth was also upgraded from 2.0 to 2.1. Instead of a single full-size DVI port, a mini DVI port was added along with the mini DisplayPort connection, which allows dual display support. Unlike the DVI port, the mini DisplayPort supports external displays with a resolution up to 2560 × 1600, which allows use of the 30-inch cinema display with the Mac Mini. As of this revision, the Apple Remote is no longer included with the Mac Mini. This Intel-based Mac Mini has a dual-core 2 MHz CPU and 2 GB RAM. It runs macOS X 10.7 Lion, and I would say that it runs okay, but do not expect too much performance. Do not forget that under Lion, you may not run any PowerPC-based software, as ROTA is not longer supported.